He had 8. That's a lot of excitement for 8. Let's get to Victor Wembanyama and the Spurs hosting Steph Curry and the Warriors, the second of a home-and-home. They played Wednesday, too. About 4 minutes left in the first quarter of this one. Warriors with a 4-point lead. Curry, he had 46 in the previous game. Good start. That's a 3. Warriors up 7. Now they're down to Curry with some distance. Spoiler alert, he had 9 threes in this game. This is a little deja vu all over again, though. Did you see it? Not from the game 2 nights ago, but from the Olympics. Step back, hits that 3. Warriors up 2 at the end of the first half. By the way, we go to the third. Dear Lord, what is Wemby doing? I'd say it's toddler style, but that's like a little too close to home. I don't myself. Spurs up 1, then 8 minutes left in the third. This might be Eve's favorite play. Curry turns the ball over nearly. Draymond Green recovers it. Green goes at Wemby, but Wemby blocks him, and then Wemby blocks him again. Standing tall, like literally, for now 97 consecutive games with the block. Spurs up 4. Curry, how about that 3? Gets him to 35 points. Boom. Through 3 quarters. Warriors down 2 at the end of 3. To the fourth we go. 8 minutes to play. Spurs up 5. We're inbounding. Wemby slams it down and is fouled, though. And these two went back and forth all game. Huge dunk over Green, but the bucket didn't count because it was called a foul on the floor. And look, Wemby doesn't move. Al Horford misses the 3. In and out of bounds. Jimmy Butler gets it from going out. Called for the foul on Wemby. You can debate that a little bit. Steve Kerr is doing more than debating. He was called for a technical. Spurs up 8 after the made free throws. And Curry draining another 3. Warriors down 7. Wemby is like, I can hit threes too. Made 3 of those. Spurs up 8. But the Warriors were getting contributions from all sources. Warriors down 5. Cut it to 2. Brandin Podziemski with that 3 at 10 points. Warriors down 3. Make it a 1-point game, courtesy of Curry. Then 40 seconds left in the fourth quarter. Warriors down 1. Curry through the defense. Passes to Butler, but Wemby is like, no. He had 3 blocks, and that one right there preserved the 1-point lead. Final 15 seconds, though. De'Aaron Fox is going to miss. Podziemski grabs the rebound, passes it to Curry. Curry draws the foul. Send him to the line. He'd make both. 49-point game. It's 109-108. De'Aaron Fox had 24 points. Not a single one of them there. Needed it, too. Warriors get the win 109-108.
No, we get a lot of attention, and we have our own expectations in our locker room that we can still win at a high level. That's all it is. We're just trying to live up to that. It's a long year. There's a lot of emotion, a lot of ups and downs, but just trying to, like I said, just come out and find an identity. We haven't been able to do that early in the season, but these are 2 gritty, gutsy, professional wins.
6 seconds left, has to hit both. Is any part of you like nervous or wondering if he might make them?
I'm nervous, but I'm not wondering if he's going to make them or not. You know, I mean, it's obviously game on the line, and you know, for him to step up there and knock them down, I think everybody expects it, but we shouldn't take that for granted. You know, that's pressure time, and he just calmly stepped up and knocked him down, and we all expected that, but that's who he is.
What would have been the reason that you lost the game, would you say?
Being more disruptive, you know, I see Curry went 16 for 26. 9 for 17 from 3, so that says a lot. We didn't take away what we should have.
It's 2 straight losses for the Spurs to the Warriors because Steph Curry had over 45 points in each of those games. It's only Curry and Michael Jordan to have done it at the age of 35 or older. And for what it's worth, Jordan did it back in 2001, but he was with the Wizards.
Wembanyama and the Spurs. Now, Steph, my gosh, talk about a bounce-back game. But first, Victor Wembanyama with the board here. Look at the stride, Wendy, just to get to the basket.
Stride, that's
a journey for most people.
That's a great leap. Wembanyama had 31 points, 15 rebounds, 10 assists in the game. But Dre actually stepped up in a huge way because he had this matchup. He's 6'6", going up against 7'5". What do you admire about his defense, Wendy?
Well, you can't beat higher. You can't higher than him, so you have to beat him lower. Watch Draymond get low on him. You can move gravity as tall as he is, and Draymond knows that. And Draymond came in with a game plan, and he executed it.
He absolutely did. Draymond Green, plus 15, went on the floor last night. Just effective disruption, and you adapt up from your coach when you are that effective. Now let's head to the third quarter. The Warriors were down 9. Steph Curry would have what I'd like to call, we've heard it many times, a flurry, Wendy.
I don't know where this ranked, but it felt impressive, especially considering they've been struggling. They're coming on the second night of a back-to-back. Draymond called some guys up the night before. Steph paid that off.
Yeah, he was going from deep, and he was knocking it down. When you see that type of emotion from Steph Curry, you know it's going to be most likely his night. Dancing in the middle of the paint.
How do you get there?
Going through traffic. I don't know. He nimbled his way through. Steph, huge night. Here, off ball, moving around the floor. Now this is teamwork. You're talking about team basketball, Perk.
For $1.
Knocks it down. The Warriors win by 5. Now, after the game, Steve Kerr called Steph Curry son of the Warriors solar system. What did you see from him in that third quarter, Danny Green?
I mean, it's excellence. We've seen it for 15 years now. I think year 17 for Steph. But he's so smart, and this is a tough matchup for San Antonio. Excuse me, you didn't have a triple-double. Wemby did have a triple-double, but he was less effective for defensive end because you got so much run around the perimeter. Steph realizes there's overload on one side, cuts through the paint, making Wemby be the guy to match up with him. Gets open space, knock down 3. You got to hit Wemby out there, try to get him active on the perimeter. So Steph did a great job with that. This is what impressed me the most about Steph. He didn't just kill him from 3. He did a lot from 2. He was only 5-16 from 3. Coming off these pin downs, De'Aaron Fox, the third game back, got to be locked in. Comes off the pin down, you got to communicate, got to switch. They didn't get the switch. He gets an easy deuce. Looks like nice off the glass bank shot. Got to call it, easy money.
Now, Danny, we have, though, Perk, seen this movie before when Steph is scoring. You know that Draymond feels like he's scoring too. Yeah. But honestly, it gives him confidence on the other end. Draymond was in his bag. What did you
He was in his bag, and he's the heart and soul of this team. And to you box score lovers and you people that hate on Draymond, this is why he's one of the best defensive players of all time, because it doesn't have to show up in the box score. Look who he's guarding. Look at the fight. Look, he's guarding Victor Wembanyama, 7'7" alien. Look at him contest this to cause one of 8 turnovers. Here we are again, staying connected, communicating pick and roll. Nice hedge right here, right? Giving his guy time, recovering back to stop the drive on Victor. Look, check this out. Another turnover, right? Caused by Draymond Green. Touching him up early, still communicating. Okay, catches the ball. Look, give him space. Look at the contest by Draymond Green, right? That forced another turnover. So again, to you box score watchers, Draymond Green, his impact on the game is not going to show up in the box scores, but when you watch the damn game, you see his value on what he brings to this Golden State Warriors team.
So on one side, Steph Curry, 46 points, explodes in the third quarter. And on the other side, Draymond's signature defense. Like fine wine, Steph Curry is aging like what, a fine Napa Valley Cabernet Sauvignon? I hope I got that right. Steph got his 43rd 40-point game since turning 30 years old. The only player who has more after the big 3-0 is Michael Jordan. Now, it's crazy that the Warriors' performance made the Spurs triple doubles between Wemby and Castle be the sub-headline. But, Brian, how would you grade San Antonio's performance, albeit in a loss?
Okay, so San Antonio obviously had a lot going for them. They are taking huge strides forward. They came into this game 8-2. They're way up there in the standings, but they still have some issues with their roster they got to work on. Primarily, they don't shoot the three-pointer that great. And so in this game, and I know you're not going to outshoot stuff, but they get outshot by 7 threes in this game. They're in the bottom 10 in three-pointers made, and that's why Wemby has been kind of shooting a little bit more threes. And then, if he's having a night where they're keying on him and he's got 8 turnovers, they got to take the ball out of his hands a little bit. They, if it's not working for him, they got to take some of the pressure off of his plate.
I will say that they do look good. I agree with Wendy. It's an anomaly to see Jimmy Butler to hit 5 threes. He hit 5 threes last night. Moses Moody, they got it. Al Horford, time and time again, they hit, and obviously Steph told him about in that third quarter, got it going, but mostly from the mid-range. But I like what they're doing in San Antonio. We got to get De'Aaron Fox more in a rhythm and be more aggressive. I feel like he's playing to fit in. And that's kind of causing his be less aggressive. They need him more aggressive. When they get Dylan Harper back, they're still getting guys healthy, but I like what I'm seeing. They're still young, they need experience, but it's going to take some time.
But, Kirk, do you think that the Spurs are ahead of schedule?
Look, I think the Spurs are going to make the playoffs, okay? I think you got to grow, right? We didn't see all the guys take that step forward, the elite players, where they get theirs and go through the growing pains of making guys around them better. That's what we're seeing out of Victor, right? Seeing how to play seeing how to put guys to be in position to play alongside him. That's why we saw the 8 turnovers. De'Aaron Fox was brought in to be that closer. I'm going to give them some grace. You know why? Because De'Aaron Fox is only back. He hasn't been back, 3 or 4 games. So I'm going to give him a grace, but I'm pretty sure they're going to figure it out. And it's going to be exciting to see that 2-man game once they get that chemistry down between Wemby and D. Fox.
Tonight, Warriors fans, we witnessed something that felt bigger than basketball. Something that felt like a reminder of who we are, who Stephen Curry is, and why the Golden State Warriors remain one of the most resilient, battle-tested franchises in all of sports. And the crazy part is that this entire explosion, this entire masterpiece from Steph was sparked not by a highlight, not by a matchup, not by a grudge, but by a speech. A speech from Steve Kerr that came at the perfect moment. A speech he rarely gives. A speech that reached into the past to rewrite the present. And man, did it work. Because Stephen Curry didn't just score 49 points against the San Antonio Spurs. He didn't just take over an NBA Cup game that was slipping away. He didn't just add his name to yet another historic list beside Michael Jordan and LeBron James. No, he reminded the world, and maybe reminded even his own team, that greatness is not a memory. It is not nostalgia. It is not something the Warriors once had. It is something we still have right now. Let's take it from the top. The Warriors entered this game knowing it was bigger than just another night on the schedule. They came in on the second night of a back-to-back. They came in with people questioning their energy, their identity, and their unity. Coming off recent struggles, coming off Draymond's public comments about personal agendas, coming off rotations that looked disjointed at times, the Warriors were searching for something real, something deep, something emotional, something unifying. And it turns out Steve Kerr had been waiting for the right moment to speak from the heart. Stephen Curry told reporters after the game that Kerr gave one of the best pregame speeches he's heard in years. And here's what makes that so powerful. Kerr almost never talks about his time with the Chicago Bulls. He almost never goes back and references Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, Phil Jackson, and those championship locker rooms. But this time, he did. He told his team the truth. He reminded them of the formula. He reminded them of what championship DNA looks like. He reminded them what unity actually means. The old Bulls principles: sacrifice, connection, playing agenda-free basketball, trusting the system, trusting each other. He talked about a band coming together, each instrument different, but each one essential. Then Kerr dropped the message that every player in that locker room needed to hear. Win or lose, go out there as a unit. Go out there as one. Bring energy, bring fight, bring identity. Don't play separate. Don't play disconnected. Don't play with personal agendas. Play as a band. And who do you think heard it the loudest? Stephen Curry, the man who has been the heartbeat of this franchise for more than a decade. The man who, even at 37 years old, is still defying every expectation, rewriting every assumption, and elevating the Warriors in ways no player in NBA history has ever elevated a franchise. And what did Curry do with Kerr's speech? He turned it into a masterpiece. 49 points, a fourth-quarter takeover, another iconic performance to add to his legendary resume. And the symbolism doesn't stop there. Because with this 49-point explosion, Curry joined only Michael Jordan and LeBron James as the only players in NBA history to record back-to-back 40-point games after turning 37 years old. Two of the most physically dominant players of all time, and then Stephen Curry, the smallest superstar, the unlikeliest superstar, the most revolutionary shooter to ever live. And this is what makes the entire situation absolutely incredible. Kerr had just finished telling stories about the Bulls, about Jordan, about the late 1990s dynasty, about identity, sacrifice, and greatness. And then Curry went out on the floor and tied Jordan in an NBA record, as if Kerr reached back into time, pulled out a message from the Bulls era, and placed it directly into Stephen Curry's veins. But that's the thing about greatness. Real greatness creates its own echoes. Real greatness rewrites eras. Curry didn't imitate Jordan. He reminded the world that he belongs in that same breath. But this story isn't just about Steph scoring 49 points. It's about how the Warriors played. It's about how the team responded to Kerr's challenge. Draymond Green set the tone early on defense. Jimmy Butler followed with timely offense and big physical plays. The Warriors, for the first time in weeks, looked connected. They looked like a unit. They looked like a team that heard their coach, looked at one another in the locker room, and said, "Let's get this one together." Kerr talked about unity. The Warriors showed unity. Kerr talked about identity. The Warriors rediscovered identity. Kerr talked about energy. The Warriors unleashed energy. And the result was one of the most emotional, inspired, locked-in wins of the season. A win that might mark a turning point. A win that might be remembered months from now if the Warriors make a real playoff run. A win that may go down as one of those nights where everything shifted. And here's where it gets even more powerful. Curry is not slowing down. He's still doing things that players 10 years younger struggled to accomplish. He still reads defenses like a grandmaster. He still manipulates spacing like a magician. He still has the deadliest gravity in the league, and he still finds ways to elevate teammates even when he's scoring nearly 50 points. This is why the Warriors cannot waste this moment. This is why the front office must continue giving Curry what he needs: reliable defenders, consistent spacing, smart, disciplined players who understand their roles. This is why moves like pursuing Herb Jones matter. This is why maximizing Jimmy Butler's veteran presence matters. This is why Moses Moody's development matters. This is why roster flexibility matters. Stephen Curry is still giving this franchise a championship-level performance at 37 years old. And when you have a generational player still operating at this level, you owe him everything. You owe him support. You owe him roster help. You owe him a real chance to compete. The Warriors must recognize this because nights like this remind us all of one truth. Stephen Curry is still capable of carrying a team deep into June if the pieces around him match his hunger. And tonight, they did. The Warriors locked in. The Warriors fought. The Warriors believed. The Warriors played with purpose. And behind that, behind Kerr's rare emotional speech, behind Curry's legendary effort, the Warriors walked out with a win that felt meaningful, a win that felt symbolic, a win that felt like a statement to the rest of the league. Don't count us out. Not yet. Not ever. Not while Stephen Curry is still here doing this. Now it's your turn, Warriors Nation. What did you think of this performance? Do you believe this is the spark the Warriors needed? Do you feel the shift in energy? Let me know in the comments, hit that like button, and subscribe to Warriors Nation News for everything Golden State all season long.